Alright, welcome back to our 11th outing of LEGO Marvel Superheroes, and this time we've got two created characters, both with Captain America's shield. The first here is a character titled Miss US of A, and she has powers based off of Spider-Woman. And for some reason, the game likes to glitch her arms out, and so her arms, which should be red, sort of disappear, turn clear. But she has Spider-Woman's powers, so she has the projectiles, she can fly around, and she also has Captain America's powers, with the shield, being able to throw the shield around, throw it in shield switches, and whatnot. And then, of course, there's this character. This is the Iron Yankee, because I really ran out of ideas for names, and Iron Patriot was taken. He's able to use Captain America's shield for some things. Notice he can't use it to suppress fire. But he can activate shield switches and throw the shield around. But his alternate attack, if you press it quickly, it will give you the repulsor shots that Iron Man fires. Or the gold laser to burn through stuff. Which is kind of a neat combination of powers to have, since Cap and Iron Man don't really overlap anywhere with their power sets. And, I used the Mark VI body as the centerpiece for the Iron Yankee, and then used blue pants and blue sleeves. You can see I used Spider-Woman's face, just blue, for Miss US of A. So we're going to move on from these two characters. And Iron Yankee is a created character that actually gets a fair amount of use in free play because of his power combination. But we need to move on, as we're going to take some liberties. Up till now, the story's been kind of, a little convoluted. We've been going around fighting all these different groups of enemies in these different places just to fulfill Loki and Dr. Doom's mission. But now we're going to get full-on 1980s cartoon plot. Because what's going to happen is Magneto's going to decide that, what I need to make all this work? I need to take over the Statue of Liberty and use it as a puppet. So yeah, this seems like a reasonable idea. We're going to bring along the psychic manipulator mastermind. And this is our team of heroes. Mr. Fantastic, along with the Hulk and Wolverine. So this marks the second time that Wolverine and Hulk have played together. And it also, since Mr. Fantastic is in the crew, you know that there's going to be stuff in this level that only Mr. Fantastic can do. So something to keep in mind for free play, because you're going to need Mr. Fantastic in here. Alright, so Lady Liberty, again, not controlling her own movements, that's Magneto controlling her, decides to hit our plane into the Roxxon plant where she was going anyway. So that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. And our three-man relay team is going to have to watch out for the statue as she tries to stop us on our way into the power plant. Okay, now this radioactive sludge here, or toxic sludge, whatever you want to call it, Hulk can maneuver through it without any problem, but it will kill any other character, and as you might have seen it do to Wolverine just there. And one of the nice things about this level, other than the fact that you're facing the various Magneto acolytes, is that it's very much a relay oriented. You'll use Hulk for something, then you'll use Mr. Fantastic for something, then you use Wolverine for something. And the flow is pretty good doing all those things. Right, so there's a little blue box, so let's go break the blue box open. And that turns out to be a Mr. Fantastic point.
Alter your shape into some
And now Mr. Fantastic will turn into a mousetrap. Yeah, I don't know about that one. First thing, when he turned into the lighthouse, it didn't make a lot of sense either. So now he's jumping up to get across here. What we need to do is we need to get rid of this big pillar in the way. And once we do that, we can get Mr. Fantastic across using his floaty powers. But before that, we're going to have to send Hulk through the sludge. And then he destroys the tower just like that. And I'm trying to target things with the door here, but for some reason the game doesn't want to cooperate with me. So ultimately I just throw the door away. And so Hulk has done all Hulk can do. So now Wolverine has to crawl down this wall, slice open this door, and that will reveal a Smart Man switch. Good luck with Wolverine using that. Yeah, we're going to need to go get Mr. Fantastic. This is definitely one of the more brutish teams that we've had running around between Wolverine and the Hulk. So it's good that we've got one techie with us as well. Alright, so we brought the Hulk up the elevator. And now we need to keep on moving. So here the Statue of Liberty once again tries to stop us. Runs into some problems, but she does actually do something here because I get my throw wrong. And the little throw item gets broken before it reaches the place where Hulk is supposed to split the wall. So I had to be more careful on the second throw. And Wolverine asks a very important question and gets a very unparticular helpful answer. So now we're going across. We have this big pool of stuff to get across. But there's actually a way for each character to get across this big pool of toxic waste. Wolverine's path is here, and fortunately the AI will set it up for you. And in fact, when Wolverine gets to the other side, they'll make sure he jumps off too. Then, for Mr. Fantastic, if you want to bring him across, there is a drain over to the right that we missed, and he can go through the drain. Hulk can just go through the waste, again, because Hulk doesn't care. So here's the other side of the drain where Mr. Fantastic could come out. I mention this because I'm not actually going to bring Mr. Fantastic over until much later. It doesn't really matter. You only need Wolverine and Hulk to get through most of this part anyway. And we're just throwing stuff around. Get the claw switch there. Okay, and then phase 2 looks a lot like phase 1. Assuming that you actually get the Hulk. Alright, so Hulk pulls out another door, reveals another claw switch, throws another door somewhere else. Grabs a few studs, because why not? And now we've drained all the waste from the floor. So now Mr. Fantastic can run across, even though we could have brought him across earlier. Yeah, through this drain. Because now I'm going to explore this drain, and what do you know? It pops out on the other side. So now we're going to go back through the drain again after we collect a few more studs. So that we can get back to the other side here and complete this section of the level. So you can see how the three little switches work. You need Mr. Fantastic on one, Hulk on the big one, and Wolverine on the third. And so now we're getting into the elevator, and we're going up, wherever up plans to take us. And now we're in the more generator-looking parts of the level. Now here the trick is not to get hit by the rotating thingy, so you can just wait for it to pass and then run behind it. Thing is I forgot that I was headed. You really just want to head to the next one. I tried to aim for the little pathway over there, which you can't really reach without a flying character. And fortunately, my compatriots did the right thing, and so we were able to get to the next phase, where again, the process is just running behind it until you reach the bridge. And the bridge reveals that I need the Hulk. Fortunately, there he is. Now, I tried to trigger the Wolverine Wild Sense here outside, but, you know, that's why we have Hulk, is to open the door so we don't have to do that. So Hulk opens the door here, and then, again, I'm having way too much fun trying to figure out where to throw things. And then Wolverine needs to go inside. There's the Wild Sense. And now we're going to try to get the drop on these Magneto Acolytes. Now, Magneto Acolytes are not all the same character. Some of them have electrical powers. Some of them have fire powers. And I believe there's a third variety, but I can't quite remember what that third power that they might have is. And once again, as I pointed out in the X-Men level, there are a darn lot of Magneto Acolytes. You know, I'm pretty sure that there are enough for Magneto to have merely dispensed with the X-Men at some point or another. But whatever. We'll follow the one X-Man that we have, Wolverine, into the next claw switch, when we will... Again, I know a lot of people might like the combos, but when you're in the middle of a fight and you're trying to defeat multiple enemies, taking a long time to kill an enemy with a flashy move sometimes gets a little bit in your way. And so, you know, that's why I'm not necessarily a big fan of using Wolverine as a melee fighter. Not that he's not effective, it's just that his special, well, his unique killing moves take some time. So we get all the way over here and we discover that we need Mr. Fantastic. And where is Mr. Fantastic? Oh yeah, he's all the way back at the electric generator because he couldn't get through somehow. So after we Loki this Magneto Acolyte, and I destroy some more stuff, you know, we need him for the next move. And right when we think that he's gotten by, no, gets hit, falls off the edge. So we have to run all the way back around. And then trying to rush through causes us to run into the little thingies. It's never good to run into the little thingies. And so Mr. Fantastic has opened a door here. And now he's going to run into it. This brings us to the halfway point of the level. So somebody's playing with the Statue of Liberty with a jet. And then the Statue of Liberty just crushes our heroes. Except that you can't crush the Hulk. And so now the objective is quite simple. We're at the bottom of the statue. We're going to have to work our way all the way up the statue to get to her head, which is where we believe Magneto is sort of hanging out. And if not Magneto, then Mystique and Mastermind are up there. And so now we are working our way up the statue. The statue part of this level continues to use sort of the good arrangement that we saw earlier in the Roxxon plant. You know, there's going to be a lot of relay elements to this, where it's very obvious which character you need at any one time. But each character has things that have to get done. So if you come back here in free play, you're going to need a character who goes through grates, and you're going to need a character who's got claws, and you're going to need a big fig. And if you're going to bring a character who goes through grates anyway, you might as well bring Mr. Fantastic, because he can do other things. Particularly, I'm thinking of the Fantastic Four bricks, because Spider-Man could have done what he just did right there. But this is why I think Mr. Fantastic is one of the most useful characters that you can have. Hulk, on the other hand, not so much. There are a bunch of characters who can do the things that Hulk can do. So now I'm clearing away space behind a drain because we need to get that fire out of there if we want to move. And now I'm going to get swarmed by Magneto acolytes. Fortunately, I'm Mr. Fantastic. And I can do interesting things like wrap them up and spin them around, knock over tables. It's just a shame that that you could argue that the Fantastic Four, as shown in this game, is probably maybe their best appearance outside the comics. Fantastic Four movies just really haven't ever done it. I don't know why that is. It seems like there would be elements that you could use to make them work, but they just haven't found their storyteller for whatever reason. I mean, you know, Captain America's found his storyteller with the Russo brothers, although they may now be just the baseline Marvel storytellers at this point. You know, the group that wrote and directed Deadpool, you know, they seem to find their way to make that work. So I'm thinking that the Fantastic Four just need to find the right writer and need to find the right director. But I don't know how many chances they'll get at that, particularly since Marvel didn't get the movie rights, or weren't able to get the movie rights back on the Fantastic Four. So they sort of downgraded their significance within the comic book world. So I'm thinking that the next real attempt at a Fantastic Four movie might be after the franchise reverts back to Marvel, assuming that ever happens. But I can't really see Fox taking advantage of the Fantastic Four. You know, Deadpool has shown them that they can make an expanded X-Men universe movie. But I'm not sure how that helps you when you're talking about the Fantastic Four. Certainly they could work with the X-Men or something like that, but again, you'd sort of have to plan out how that would look. And I don't know how many comic stories there are that sort of follow that line. So, all right, we continue to work our way up the statue. And now it's Wolverine's time. Now, I'm sure you guys noticed, and maybe you've been noticing all along with Wolverine, his animation when he gets knocked all the way down to no hearts, or one heart, he becomes a skeleton, and then he slowly puts his stuff back on. He slowly puts his body parts back on, you know, as he gets back to full health. It's kind of a neat little trick, and it's not just Wolverine who does it. It's also Deadpool, other characters that have a healing factor somewhere in there. So now we are just about ready to get off of this statue. So we're going to send Hulk after these Magneto acolytes, because I'm sure that Magneto talked about what to do when fighting the Incredible Hulk in whatever training camps he held for his little acolytes. I'm sure that was right up there. And those poor guys weren't outmanned at all. So there's the spiral staircase, there's the bridge. Now we just need somebody who can get up there carefully without slipping off. So instead of sending Hulk up there first, I send Mr. Fantastic. And haha, it's Mastermind. Mastermind, I guess, sort of the evil version of Professor X. I mean, you know, at least powers-wise. You know, he has the ability to manipulate people's minds. And then this boss fight is, I'm not entirely certain what they were looking for with this boss fight, because what happens is Mastermind takes control of one of your companions. Then your companion will imagine enemies, in this case, little red versions of Sabretooth. And you can fight the little versions of the enemies, or you can fight the Logan, in this case, himself. I'm not really sure if what you need to defeat is Logan or the little dream enemies, but you'll see that I just beat up kind of everything. Got him down to 1 star, or 1 heart, and finally got him down to no hearts, and then you'll seize control back and sort of fight off Mastermind's control. Now, behind Mastermind will be TV screens of everything that is happening in someone's mind. Right, so here we have a little... This is sort of weird. This is Reed Richards fighting what I think are the Skrulls. And I'm sure there's some sort of comic book basis for why Reed Richards would be afraid of the Skrulls, but I don't know the comics well enough. I don't know the Fantastic Four comics at all. So I can't really tell you what the deal with the Skrull are here. I'm sure it must be somewhat interesting. Now, Mr. Fantastic has an attack where he will try to constrict you. And if he does, you have to switch to the other character. And again, I wasn't sure whether just beating up the Skrulls was enough, or if I needed to beat up Reed. Again, hard to get the right angle on him if he's going to be wrapped up around the Hulk like this. And I died there. So, still fighting these Skrulls, this time with Wolverine. Finally, Hulk gets loose. Okay, and we can shed the constricting thing. And now Mr. Fantastic is fighting off his mental control. And that leaves only one guy left. And you may think, oh my goodness, he's going to seize control of the Hulk. And this is going to be the hardest fight of these fights. And the answer is actually no. And the reason for this is because the Hulk will change back to being Bruce Banner at several times during the fight. And that's when he's weak. That's when you can hit the Hulk, is when he's Bruce. Otherwise, you're best off just staying away from the Hulk and attacking the General Thunderbolt Rosses that pop up instead. Again, kind of weird that there be multiple General Rosses hanging around. But then again, we also had multiple Sabretooths, so maybe not so weird after all. So I'm just waiting for him to turn into Bruce Banner one more time. And he did. Or, well, he didn't, but he basically fought off Mastermind's control. So Mastermind now tries to do the Loki trick against us, but Wolverine can see through that. And that allows our guys to witness Magneto taking the nuclear reactor out of the Roxxon station so that he can use it for some other use, or some other purpose. And this is going to be, unfortunately, this is going to be the end of the line for Hulk, Mr. Fantastic, and Wolverine. They will not be part of the final team-up to take on Doctor Doom and Loki, but we will see them again, I'm pretty sure. So let's check out and see what the plan is now to take out that rogue statue. I'll see you then.